What's up? My name's Glue Boy. Welcome back. Today, we're covering another real simple faction, honestly, kind of like last week. We're going to be going in to the terrifying big bugs themselves, the Tyranids.
Man, game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we going to do now?
So, the Tyranids, like I said, stupid simple. Do you understand the concept of bugs? Do you know what a hive mind is? You're pretty much good. These Starship Troopers and Xenomorph ripoffs are one of the most terrifying threats in 40k. In fact, they're one of the only things in the setting that can get all of these other factions to work together and actually cooperate. Even shit like Chaos or Orcs on some occasion will put aside their differences and fight the Nids, then go back to the good old normal fighting. The Tyranids are hyper-evolving, hyper-adaptive, horrifying bug monsters that just want to eat you. That's their main goal. They come in, they eat all of the biomass possible, put it into their big, back in their biomass stocks, create more bugs with it, sequence your DNA, then skedaddle on to the next planet to do literally the same. And yeah, that's the scary thing. You're fighting Nids, the more they eat, the bigger the army that's coming at you is. So, it's a nice snowball when your planet's getting devastated by them. And also, you found a fun little workaround or cool tactic? Well, the hive mind is now creating a new line or some new resistances for the generation of Tyranids, or especially sending other ones at you. We're in this nice underground hive city. They can't get to us. All right, let's just make some burrowing Tyranids that are going to come right at you. Oh, we have a lot of fire weapons. Yep, now they're all kind of flame resistant. Stuff like that. But wait, it gets worse. Another fun thing is if you take a look at the galactic map. Now, the Tyranids are not from the Milky Way galaxy. And in fact, they're really recent. They kind of only came in the 41st millennium. And they started poking in. The first appearance of them was up in the eastern fringes around a planet named Tyran, where they got their name. Tyranids, Tyran, that shit. Where they came in and ate everything, and everyone's freaking the fuck out. And then other hive fleets started coming in. And a hive fleet is just a biological war fleet of Tyranids that come in, move in a direction. By the way, no faster than light travel. They just kind of move and eat whatever they find. And the fun thing is they're all coming from different spots in the galaxy. Oh, that one's coming from the east, and we got another one on the western side of the Milky Way galaxy. So there's a pretty solid chance the entirety of the galaxy is surrounded by Tyranids. A horrifying concept. But wait, there's more to add to this shit sandwich, as the Tyranids do some funky stuff with the warp. As individually, a Tyranid doesn't really do much for Chaos or the warp. You kill just like a bug, it's not going to make any dent. And, all of it, you're not feeding Khorne or Tzeentch or Slaanesh or Nurgle by killing them or really any of that stuff, as that's all back in the hive mind. As such, they occupy this interesting space. There are Tyranid psychers, but when a Tyranid fleet is in your area, they make something called the Shadow and the Warp. The Shadow and the Warp is essentially the raw power of the hive mind, which is a horrifying mess of just screaming hungry bug voices. Terrifying. Only one guy has tapped his way psychically into the hive mind, and it was only for a short period of time. Everyone else who tried died. And as well, psychers, when they're around Tyranids, kind of start going crazy, because all they hear in their mind is just whispers of how hungry they are. And when a Tyranid comes to your planet, into your system, you are cut off from the warp. No warp travel, and no communications. You can't call for help when the Tyranids invade. You just have to pray that someone else knows what was happening and can come to help you, or finds you getting attacked. Otherwise, they'll just come around back, wonder why this planet hasn't responded, and it'll be a barren wasteland of everything biological killed on it. But yeah, pretty terrifying. As such, some characters have done some pretty shit things to try to combat them. I would be remiss if I talked about Tyranids without talking about Inquisitor Cryptman, the only Inquisitor to be fired from the Inquisition for being too evil. That should tell you something. Inquisitor Cryptman had the genius level idea of, hey, if the Tyranids don't eat, they'll starve to death. So what if I exterminatus every planet in front of a Tyranid hive fleet to starve them out? By the way, not evacuating the planets beforehand, because that might alert the Tyranids or something. So after exterminatusing, killing billions upon billions of Imperial citizens, the Inquisition kind of had to stop it. Because that's a lot of resources he's wasting to kill a single hive fleet. But on to individual Nids. And I think you can place the Tyranids on like two kind of camps. You have your drones, which are your warriors and your basic fighters. They're the ones that make up the bulk of the horde. They rush in, they follow commands, and they kill anything in front of them, eat all the biomass, and bring it all back to the hive ship. Also, then you got the brain bugs. The brain bugs, or synapse units, are ones that act almost as like nodes or neurons for the hive mind. When around them, the bugs can think more tactically, as the hive mind has a stronger presence in that little zone and can direct these drones to just perform better. And as well, you kill the brain bug in an area that's commanding all these people, you kind of like cause the hive mind in that area to have a stroke. It freaks out, doesn't fully know what to do. The Nids start like, oh, we're disconnected. We have to get reconnected back to the hive mind. We need to get back there. And they kind of just start fighting as an uncoordinated swarm. So they're still dangerous, don't get me wrong. They're not going to start flipping out, killing each other, all that stuff. They're still, somewhat intelligent creatures. They're just not going to be tactical about it and run straight forward or trying to retreat and get back to like the safe space of their whole Gestalt consciousness, then move on. And yeah, there are some really fun monsters and like creatures inside the Tyranid Codex, like good old like Carnifexes, Molochs, Hive Tyrants, all these fun stuff. And honestly, that's kind of the main overview of the Nids. They're horrifying creatures. They're one of the biggest threats in 40k, and that's another thing. They're kind of like one of the main villains. Like, they're an army that exists to be defeated by whatever heroes are there. There's not many times that Tyranids get like wins or any major stuff. The only win I think they've gotten recently is they won the major Octarius War event. That they outsmarted a bunch of orcs, which, congrats Nids, you outsmarted orcs. Not a hard feat, but you still did it. And normally, this would be where I go into characters. And while there are Tyranid characters, like I mentioned, there's the Swarm Lord, there's good old One Eye, like that stuff, I don't think that's what I want to cover here. As you don't see a lot of coverage on the Tyranid characters, because at the end of the day, they're just bigger bugs. The Swarm Lord is terrifying, don't get me wrong. The dude fucks hard. But instead, I'm going to talk about just two fun examples of major Tyranid battle events. First up is a personal favorite. It's one of my favorite Tyranid stories ever. We got the Fall of Shadowbrink, or the first time the Tyranids ever met with demons, and vice versa. So on the planet of Shadowbrink, the Grey Knight Space Marines were fucking around with what was essentially a Stargate. Like, messing around with this warp thing, pretty bad. And the Nids started arriving. Started coming down, doing their thing, attacking stuff. And, all the PDFs and Grey Knights coming out to go fight kind of started to rile up the warp as all of this, dying was happening. And through this Stargate, a war band of demons made up of 4 greater demons as, like, the head. Each one representing their chaos god. A great unclean one, a keeper of secrets, a bloodthirster, and a lord of change. They all came in, and an entire army of Chaos Undivided started attacking. The Tyranids, seeing this brand new force, got excited. Ooh, more biomass. The demons, ooh, more warp things to play with and feed my gods. And they clashed. And they quickly realized, on both sides, I can't eat this thing. Because Tyranids, no real presence in the warp. And demons are made of thought stuff. There's no biomass there. So real quick, they got hit in kind of a stalemate. And at this point, too, the Grey Knights were kind of fucked over. The humans were still kind of there trying their best to fight. But, when the big giant demon army and the Tyranid army is fighting, you want to step back. But the Tyranids started winning. Because Tyranids are nothing but adaptive and kind of quickly realized, this isn't food, this is a rival predator. So I need to strike fast to get rid of it. And they did. Some like blank Tyranid units completely killed the Keeper of Secrets. And the Lord, to the point where the Lord of Change was like, all right, I'm leaving. And he dips back in the portal. And essentially, they struck so fast and like hard into these demon army that they had to retreat, which I'm certain, Khorne was a big fan of. He's a big fan of, retreating and all that. Yeah. And, the Tyranids won that engagement. They went on, they ate the planet and left. And then we got the devastation of Baal. Again, you're welcome, Blood Angel fans. I'm talking kind of about your faction again in another factions video. The devastation of Baal is a massive, horrible event that happened on the homeworld of the Blood Angels, around the end of the 41st millennium, around the same time as the fall of Acadia. The Tyranids, extra angry at the Blood Angels, invaded Baal and came in complete full force, where Commander Dante, the chapter master, an absolute fucking badass, he called every single other successor chapter back to Baal to defend it, and they defended their fucking heart out. A lot of cool shit happened. It's really complicated, real sad too. And honestly, they were real close to losing. Tyranids were making some serious progress. Except Acadia fell, and the Great Rift went shocking all the way through the galaxy. And where Baal was and all that, cut off the Tyranids from the hive mind. And this Hive Fleet Leviathan, freaked the fuck out. And the massive warp storms that occurred during this time too, ripped the main force of the Hive Fleet to shreds. And then, my favorite part of the devastation of Baal. On the Baal's moon, there were a bunch of Tyranids. Of course, they were everywhere. And with the warp storm, kind of, opens this area up to the warp. And a Khorne demon army, another demon story, led by the bloodthirster named Khal Banda. And Khal Banda is fucking great. He has this personal beef with Sanguinius, because him and Sanguinius fought twice. And Sanguinius did shit like suplexing him from orbit into the planet. Sick stuff. Their duels are great. Ripping off his wings one-handed, cool shit. But Khal Banda hates the Blood Angels, just like the Tyranids do. And he, in this moment, was like, only I'm allowed to kill the Blood Angels. Fuck you, Tyranids. And when the Blood Angels went up to the moon of Baal, they found a giant, shrine to Khorne of the skulls of the Tyranids, leaving this message of, when the time comes, I'm going to be the one that kills you. Not them, me. And that's how the devastation of Baal ended. But with all that fun stuff out of the way, we're going to go right to the rules.
It's afraid. It's afraid!
So, Tyranids are in a very similar place to Sisters. And if you want to know what I was saying about that, go watch my Sisters video. I'm real proud of it. Didn't do the greatest, but I think it's really good. And for similar reasons, Tyranids are fucking dominating. They are really good. And for the same reason as Sisters, it's because one sub-faction is absolutely carrying them. That's going to be Hive Fleet Leviathan. And there's a lot of, all the other sub-factions are sick as fuck. Here, same thing as last time. Here they all are. We're going to be talking about one, though. And I'm also extra sad because I love Hive Fleet, Behemoth, because I hate Horde armies. I hate bringing lots of models and painting a lot of models. I just want the big monsters, because big Tyranid monsters are the best. Hive Fleet Leviathan's rules is goofy good. Just extra tanky. Similar to Dark Angels as well, too. They're just really hard to wound. And as well, if you are playing them, you're going to need to make sure you learn the Synapse rules. There's a key caveat right there for Synapse stuff. And here's the rules on that. It's a fucking lot. I feel like I'm just dumb because I don't fully understand those. And as well, if you want to get a little extra cheeky, here's a relic you can take that increases your character and horde killing capacities. Bring this relic. There's no debate. Just bring it. And as well, you want to bring this warlord trait just to add some extra consistency. Both of these are wildly picked. You want to slap it on your Hive Tyrant and you're good to go. Which, speaking of, for unit recommendations, right now the meta is warrior swarms. So you want to bring a fuck ton of warriors. And as well, I would say bring a Hive Tyrant. You want that to be your warlord. The Hive Tyrant has a lot of really good shit going for it. There's a lot of customization that you can add to it, some fun add-ons. It's also a psyker. There's really good reasons you want to bring, the Hive Tyrant. And that's what you slap your upgrades on. And as well, there are just some really fun models and some fun stuff I'd recommend bringing or at least trying out. Even if they're not perfectly meta, I really like them. Their two Forge World models and specifically are phenomenal. This one is actually, like, from what I've heard, pretty good. I don't know if this is patched out, so, you know, if I'm wrong with it, sorry. The Harridan is stupid good. It's a big flying bug, really strong. And then we also got my favorite. I love the Hierophant, like the, you know, the giant Hierophant, not the other one. This thing's dope. It's not as good. Objectively, not as good, but cool. I like it. It's a transport unit, by the way. Don't picture that too hard. It's kind of terrifying. But yeah, you know, if you bring warriors, bring some big scary monsters, throw some good shit in there, and you'll perform well enough. They are scary good, and a big reason for that is because Tyranids kind of shut out a lot of other factions' just options in melee. As dealing with this many models and just giant swarm, other armies that are good at melee can't perform effectively. So a lot of the armies that are doing well into Nids can keep that distance and really, like, you know, cut through the lines, like, ranged-wise. Those are really the factions that are performing well. Everything else is kind of collapsing. But yeah, that about wraps it up. Love the Nids. I don't think I'd ever play them. I like the old Crusher Stampede rules, but, you know, I don't know if you can run them again. I heard they got patched out. But anyways, like, subscribe, comment, do all that fun stuff. See ya.